Hello and a warm welcome to Conny Decorates, and of course with Heart and Soul. And who else is here with us? Me, yes, the cameraman. Exactly, and today we're outside. That's actually our topic today, a feeding station for the birds. It's all set up, lots of bundt cakes, small and large, and a bit of apple and moss. They like that too. We've also included some hyacinths. And dear friends, if you want to know how this decorative feeding station works, just stay tuned because we're going to show you now. And these are the things we need for our beautiful feeding station today for the birds. And look here, we have some silicone molds here. I have them in very small sizes, but of course you can use whatever you like. In the last video about bird food, we also used cookie cutters, the cookie mold. This time I wanted a bit bigger, so I'm using this large silicone baking mold. And what we definitely need, I always really like it, the coconut fat. I found this at a discount store, so I picked some up. But there's also this version from Palmen. There's also coconut fat, usually found in the refrigerated section. Then I also have a few apples here, and we had quite a few nuts. We wanted to mix it ourselves. Unfortunately, we can't find the bags, but I always have this. One is titmouse feed, and the other is soft food. And those are what I'll be using today. And I'd say, let's get started. We'll heat up the pot and add a bit of coconut fat. And then we'll continue right away. The oven is on, and I'm already starting to put some of the feed into the mold. Some in the big one here and also in the small one. I always do about half and half. So if you have 300 grams of coconut fat or 250 grams of coconut fat, then you use the same amount of seeds, 250 or 300 grams. And it's important, please, not to let the coconut fat boil. Just slowly heat it up until it becomes liquid. The fat is slowly turning liquid. I have a mix here for wild birds. That's because we're in an area where there's a nature reserve, a moorland nearby. And we have an incredible number of trees here. And really, all kinds of birds gather here, all the different mixes you can imagine. So all of them, different types of birds, and many of them are just passing through as well. And that's why I've made a mix for wild birds here too, so just take a look and get informed. You can create all kinds of bird feed with oatmeal, lots of nuts and raisins. And the fat is already liquid. And here I have an apple corer, and with it I'm going to remove the core from the middle. And now in the meantime, I'm just going to quickly make a few apple slices, just take out the core, and in no time at all, I'll have them ready. Just like that. A few rings, the fat is hot, and now I'm going to very carefully pour it into our mold. And now we can also hear. Very carefully pour it into our little molds. We've now filled up all the fat, and now you can very carefully, here in the big mold, I use the cooking spoon again to mix it all together nicely. Just stir it around a few times. I'm making 3 apples, so now I'll finish 1 more apple. And just now I went out to the shed. And I actually found a few small red rose hips, which I think is just perfect. That also fits really well with this natural feeding spot. I'll finish preparing the apple and then I'd say, Micha, let's go over to the shed with you all until everything here has set nicely. Yes. These are the things we need now for our wonderful feeding spot, for our birds here in our garden. And this is actually the base. It's a really old table that we once got as a gift. And the tiles have already come off the top. And that's what we're going to decorate today. So let's get started. Here are our homemade little birdseed bundt cakes. And they dried really quickly in the fridge. I'd say about 20 minutes and they were done. The big one is still in there. I'd say about 2 hours for that one. Then we have, as you know, our apple rings here. The little rose hips, here the ones I found, and I also took some dried rose hips out of the wreath. And these wreaths here, those are from last year at Easter, one made of birch twigs. Muhlenbeck, yes, I found those in the shed, and then I also have another wreath here. From the last decoration, I still have this ivy here, and I think we can get started. Down here, I have a bit of moss, and let's go over here, because then I'll get started right away. I always have our wood here, and also wood slices. They're always great for decorating, so I'll just set them out here for now. Back here, I have a bit of height, which is perfect, and here I have the jute ribbon. I don't even know why there's a knot in it, but it doesn't matter at all. I could just put a few apple slices on it now. Yeah, it's almost like a teething ring here, and then I'll just take this off. And now I'm simply going to hang the apple slices up here in our wreath. And here I have some really nice dried moss, which I'll go ahead and place on the table in front of me. And at the back here I can also add some fresh moss. I'll pull that up a bit now, along with my terracotta pots. I'm also going to fill those nicely with moss, and they'll be placed on the table as well. I have 4 of them here, and I even have one more from our terrace, which I thought was really nice. The moss is perfect for that one too. We actually had it in the wine crate, and I'll just go ahead and decorate with it here as well. These hyacinths, it's amazing how huge their bulbs are, and I'd like to simply place them in the pot at the back here. I always think it's wonderful when the roots are still attached. Now you could also add a bit more moss here, however you like. But I just think it's fantastic like this. I also have another hyacinth here, which I'll just place right here. A bit of moss around it like this. And now you could use a bit of floral wire to secure it. But the moss is really nice and moist, so it holds everything perfectly. And now I'll just place this here at the front, right on top of my other moss. And I also have the Muhlenbeckia wreath here. I'll just lay it like this on my, well, yes, on the wooden disc. And I think I'll put the pot right on top here. A few branches, a bit of bark. And here I also have some little twigs from our larch tree, which I have lying around everywhere. And now you can also easily skewer the apple here. Look, just like a little shish kebab. And I'll just place that right on top of my pot here. The rose hips. Now this really brings some nice color into play, although they're not quite as beautiful anymore. But I think you can still use them really well, maybe even just lay them in the pot here too. Add little colorful highlights everywhere, and on top we'll add some nice moss as well. Here I have a bit of cushion moss, a bit of sheet moss, and that also goes right on top of our trunk here. And you can also nicely place the other apple slices all around here. A great variety for the birds here. And now, of course, the best part, nice and nutritious, nice and fatty, coconut fat, and our little bundt cakes. You can use them here perfectly. Look, you can just take them out of here so easily. And now we will place them all around this area, in or on our chosen feeding spot. This one is just absolutely perfect here, nestled amongst the beautiful magnolia branches. Just look at that. You can simply slip them over here and place them into the wreath. It's still a little bit soft in the middle, so if I press here I can feel it, but it doesn't matter. I'll just very carefully pull the mold down a little bit now and just look at how absolutely beautiful it truly is. If that isn't a truly huge and magnificent feast for the eyes. And just look at all the intricate layers here. It's simply amazing. And also up here, it's quite remarkable. I'll just pull this out now. Yes, it's a little soft, but look how beautiful it is. So I really, really, really like it. And of course, I really hope the birds will enjoy it today and in the coming days as well. And to really round everything off here, I have a really old lantern. We used to have it out back. On the bark, on the decorated one. And now I'm just going to add it here again. I'll make a little space here and then I'll put a small light in. And our feeding station for the birds here is finished. We have a lot of birds here. And now we can always refill it wonderfully, top it up whenever needed. And this isn't the first time. I'll definitely do this again. I also really like the one with the large mold. And there's plenty for them to nibble on. And yes, if we were able to inspire you a little today, you can do this on your balcony or terrace. It doesn't matter where you do it. And of course, we'd really appreciate a thumbs up. And yes, dear ones, thank you again for your lovely comments. And yes, we can only say thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'd say, see you here again soon. That's right, winter meets spring. It's slowly starting and I'm looking forward to it. And who else? The cameraman. Exactly. So dear ones, stay healthy and feel a big hug from us. Yours, Conny, and yours, Micha, your cameraman. See you then, dear ones. Bye. Bye. Sip me up like lemonade, we both know it's bittersweet.